What's happening, guys? All right, so just got back from a quick rip on the Triumph Bonneville T120, now rocking the British Customs Predator Shorty exhaust and a tune revision to go along with it. So what are the riding impressions? Well, guys, I tell you what, first I got to talk about how good this thing sounds. Along with the British Customs Off-Road X-Pipe, this motorcycle now has the bark to go along with that hot rod attitude, but it's also got the horsepower to go along with it. Guys, from 4,000 RPM on up, it's like this engine caught a second wind. In fact, it feels eerily similar to a speed twin with how it accelerates above 4,000 RPM. To give you guys an example, before, the way that this motorcycle would run is, well, let's say you're on the highway and you're cruising along at, say, 85 or 90 miles per hour. You got the impression that that was the upper limit of your cruise speed. Guys, now that's about where the bike wants to start cruising. And it wants to pull hard all the way up to, well, past at least 110 miles per hour, which before was a bit of a chore to get the bike to. Now it marches right past it, quite a bit quicker than I was anticipating, if I'm being completely honest. The bike runs amazingly well without losing a step down low. Typically, conventional wisdom would have you believe that if you're going to pick up power up top, you're going to lose torque down low. That's not what happened with this bike. It feels exactly the way that it did down low, being punchy, with the horsepower now to carry it through up top. So you get the sound, you get the performance, but now I've got the convenience of not having to remove those heavy cans that were on there before, the stock pea shooters. Well, I don't have to worry about removing those things anymore to have the shot at doing chain adjustments. All I've got to do is do a normal chain adjustment without removing part of the bike. So that's a great thing too. So picked up some convenience, picked up a fantastic sound, and a lot of horsepower on the top of the run. What more could you ask for? So guys, if you're thinking about going this route, I will tell you that it is somewhat rowdy. Again, if you want to reference that sound clip video that I put together, I will link it in the description below. It's rowdy, but it's mellow at idle. It really only gets, well, loud, if you want to put it that way, is when you start giving it quite a bit of throttle. It is going to be a substantial volume increase, but it also is a bit of a deeper tone. It sounds really good. It sounds like a proper hot rod motorcycle should. If you are sensitive to that, though, and you want the convenience, but you want to have a little bit more of a mellow sound, British Customs does in fact sell a regular Predator, which is a little bit longer of an exhaust, but it does have a bit more of a mellow tone. If you don't want that rowdy sound, you want a little bit of a rowdy sound to go along with the look of the bike, that would be the direction I would go. Personally, for me though, the look of the Shorty is just so right. And again, with the tune revisions, it really does rip. And all I did in the revision was just add some fuel. I added 3% more fuel over where I was before at the top of the rev range at high loads, added 3% through the mid-range, and also added 3% down low. So basically a 3% increase across the board. And that's it. Didn't mess with timing or didn't do anything like that. I'm not trying to get the absolute most power out of this bike, but I think I'm pretty close to the limits of what this architecture will allow for. So with all of that being said, guys, if you've got one of the Bonnevilles and you're thinking about doing some modifications to it, you're thinking about building something that is going to look like this, that old school cafe hot rod, I would say look no further than British Customs. Grab one of these exhausts, get a tune on the bike, and have a ball with it. And fellas, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Y'all have a great one. Adios.